Live and direct right here on Monday Night Live, back with another rendition of Monday Night Live, except for this week we have a very unique Monday Night Live. It is a special episode because we do have a living legend that is with us. And, you know, Natalie, there's so much I can say about this person. I personally am always going to have this person in a very near and dear place in my heart, one, because of the work, the impact that the work made for me personally, and two, because of all the support that she's graciously provided the Los Angeles Tribune over the last few months, and how she's always ready, willing, and able to help uplift and inspire our community, both in the Los Angeles area, Southern California area, and quite frankly, around the world. And so it's incredible when you are able to speak to a leader that practices what they preach and actually is committed to making a difference on this planet. And so what I'd love to do, Natalie, I'd like to just give you the floor to talk for a couple minutes about how excited you are about the next hour or so and what it's going to mean to this audience that's watching from all around the world.
Well, I'm excited because I've gotten to know our special guest a little bit, especially actually 2 years ago now. Oh my God, 2021, where it was not just about presenting and sharing her immense knowledge and expertise with action steps, but also giving to the less advantaged. And whenever I talk to a leader who walks the walk and who's engaged not just in superficial things, not just in me things, but also very, very concerned about helping others. That warms my heart. And having gotten to know this next guest so much in that way, not just the support she gives us, but how she cares about one of my favorite groups, the youth, and tries to help them also understand how to live. I think tonight is going to not just be special, but insightful for a variety of different audiences because of her expansive insights from all of her experiences. So I know I'm trying to hold back, jumping up and down, but that's what I feel like.
Absolutely. No, it really is a pleasure and privilege. And for those of us watching us all over the world, especially on Facebook, we did hear that today Facebook does have difficulty outside of our control, but we did manage to get it going. So we are now live on the Los Angeles Tribune page, and we want to thank everyone for tuning in. Be sure to leave comments, folks, because this is going to be an interactive hour with Sharon Lechter. Of course, she's sold well over 30, 40. I think at this point it's difficult to keep track. I mean, when you think about how many languages her books have been translated in, how many different parts around the world, how many different markets have published it, I'd say it's probably closer to 50, 60 million thus far. But, you know, when we talk about building a legacy here on the Los Angeles Tribune, how many hundreds of millions more people will be impacted by her work when she's, gone, when we're all gone? Right, in 100, 200, 300, 400 years, because that's really how I look at the work that we do as leaders. Is not just the impact that we make while we're here, but the impact that we're making while we're gone. And, I read a book, I think I was a sophomore in high school, called Why We Want You to Be Rich. And that book changed my life. And that's my personal favorite Sharon Lechter book. But with that being said, I also want to bring up something, and that's that she has a new book coming out. And we're going to spend a lot of time talking about it, discussing it. And of course, the book is called Exit Rich. And we're super excited to get into it. And we'll talk about it for the next hour or so. And as you can see, the foreword is by Kevin Harrington. In February, Natalie, we have an exciting event coming up, which Sharon has also graciously agreed to participate in. And so has Kevin. And so we have Kevin Harrington. We are announcing today that he's going to be part of our lineup. We have Joe Vitale, David Meltzer, a few people that I know a lot of people are familiar with, and so many more names that we haven't yet publicly announced. But of course, Sharon is going to be a pivotal part of that event because a lot of people are attracted to her work and are really going to be joining to hear her and what she can contribute to their lives by just talking and sharing her wisdom. And with that, Natalie, I think it's time to bring her with us. So Sharon, welcome to Monday Night Live, and also happy birthday.
Well, thank you so much, Mo. Thank you, Natalie. I just love being with you guys. You have such great energy, and I really feel like I shouldn't talk. You guys I feel like I'm about 3 feet taller than I normally am. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations on this new book. How long did it take for you to write it?
Well, we actually had it was probably a year, and it was ready to publish back in April. And of course, with COVID, we decided to delay it. But I'm so excited because now even though the actual official publishing date's not till April, we're making it available to your audience so they can get it
Wow.
right away. So we're
Wow.
very excited about it because we've been ready for it to be out for almost a year now. We're so excited, and it's so important to get this because right now so many businesses are suffering, and we want to give them the tools, the information for them to help not just really solidify their foundation so they can be successful, and then sustainable, scalable, and saleable if they choose. So
Mhm.
Absolutely. And for those of you that may have not just heard what Sharon said, those that are watching right now have a exclusive opportunity to get the physical copy of this. And Sharon is doing this in partnership with us here at the LA Tribune for this audience, for this show right now. So if you guys are interested, write down or visit this website. Wait until the show is over. Don't go right now. Okay.
I was just going to jump.
But jot this down, exitrichbook.com/buy. And for more information, visit that. And, Sharon, a lot of people know you, of course, from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that was really what kind of put you on an international, global scale with the work that you did in the 90s and the impact that you made there. And what would you say is for a fan of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, what can they learn from this particular book? Because I know a lot of people watching this probably have that book in their bookshelf or have read it at some point in their life. So what does this have to kind of take people to the next? There we go. You have a copy of it too. And so what can people expect from this book that is different from that book and some of the others that you've written?
Well, Mo, I appreciate you asking that question because Rich Dad Poor Dad was the first of 15 books that Robert and I wrote together in the Rich Dad Company. But our fans would say, we need to know how, we need the steps, we need to how. And Robert was all about context and mindset. That's why Rich Dad made such a huge impact, because it helped people change their mindset about money to get rid of the fear and understand assets versus liabilities. But I wanted to write a book that really showed people step by step how to build the foundation of their business and to build it to the point where you could have someone say, I want to buy your business. And so the difference is Rich Dad Poor Dad is a parable. It's all about mindset, how you think about money. Very, very important. But when you've already committed to building a business, right? I want to provide the fundamentals, and this is all the fundamentals. All right. This is not a story. We use lots of examples of real life examples of businesses when they did things right and wrong, but we go into the strategies and the tactics of building a strong business, understanding the elements of what are needed. Steve Forbes says, so many business owners end up leaving equity on the table. This book will be a gold mine for these entrepreneurs. And so it's so important. We don't know what we don't know. All right. But my co-author is a top mergers and acquisitions expert. She's also the top female business broker in the country. And my background, between us, we have over 70 years, more mine than hers, of experience in the workplace and buying, selling, building businesses. And so she talks about the tactics of what you need to do, basics. I talk about the strategy from a standpoint of a mentor and an investor. What am I looking for when I'm investing in a company? And so this is like the inside track of knowing how to build your valuation, build your company, and how to structure it so that when you do want to sell it, you're going to get maximum profit for it.
I love that. And I'm like literally jumping up and down because I work with a team also that has designed a platform. And so what you're saying is so important. It's important to understand all the different building blocks. Like you mentioned, your co-author, Michelle, you need to know exactly what to do. And so often do we talk about legacy. While we're talking about building a business and legacy, there are so many small entrepreneurs with great ideas that don't make it. And so when you're talking about the mindset and the idea of you don't know what you don't know, is there's so much there where really the hand holding is so important. So when you're thinking about that, the book is called Exit Rich, which is of course, way at the end. But you're really leading them to that point, correct?
Building to Exit Rich could be the title as well. You know,
Okay.
building to exit rich, building the valuation of your company. So
Mhm.
many, you talk about the smaller business owners,
Right.
they own a job, not a business. And I want to
Mhm.
give them the tools and knowledge they need to own a business, to turn that
Right.
business into an economic engine, an asset.
Mhm.
My favorite word on earth. Natalie, you know the asset. Assets are sexy.
Yes.
Your business needs to be an asset that
Right.
generates revenue from you while you sleep. I want to show
Yes.
you how to do that. And I want to show you how you can make it not just successful, but
Mhm.
sustainable and
Yes.
scalable. And
Yes.
you scale through systems. In the book, we talk about the 6 Ps. All right. Think of a 6-cylinder car. All right. A lot of people have
Mhm.
8, but let's talk about 6. Your car needs to operate on all 6 cylinders, right? So when we talk about the 6 Ps in the book, we talk about things like, people, right?
Mhm.
Who do you have on your team? Are you doing too much? Do you need to
Ah,
delegate more? Do you need
yes.
to bring on people who are strong where you are weak? We go through the analysis of that. And
Mhm.
when you are thinking of selling your company, you want to take care of your people. All of those
Mhm.
elements we talk about. And then, of course, your product or service,
Right.
understanding how to bring in the valuation for that to be able to
Mhm.
elevate the value of your business, and then process business
Yeah.
systems. All right. So the reason you can scale is you have systems. Most people are still doing too many things themselves,
Mhm.
are doing things manually. They don't have their systems documented.
Right.
And then the fourth P is proprietary, intellectual property, your competitive advantage. Why are you better than everybody else? I want to
Mhm.
help you fine tune that, because every time you identify something that's proprietary to you, it increases your valuation and something called goodwill.
Right.
And then the fifth P is patrons, your customers. Have you facilitated and allowed your raving fans to be able to be your best marketing tools,
Mhm.
taking care of them, creating a relationship, serving your clients, not just selling them? So you
Right.
have a higher lifetime value of customer. And then, of
Absolutely.
course, the sixth one is profits. And most people, all they care about is profits.
Mhm.
I want you to focus on valuation, not just profits.
Awesome. Awesome. And you're so right, because very often when I talk with entrepreneurs, they're worried about the financial part, the profits, or I need more sales. And in that focus, which is understandable, of course, because we have to make a living, they still forget the little pieces, right? They forget to have patrons. And I love that term because I'm a historian. They have to have patrons. They have to cultivate that. But at the same instance, what got my attention when you were just talking, you always have so many nuggets, is that you were saying, delegating. Are you delegating enough? Which to me is directly connected to mindset and to how much confidence you have in yourself. So can you talk a little bit more about the idea of, even as a small entrepreneur, small, you just have one or two people, maybe you just have interns, how important is it to learn to delegate?
Well, Natalie, let me explain it this way. When you start, I guess I'm into car analogies tonight. So when you
Yeah,
start
okay.
your business, you're in the driver's seat. You're holding the
Mhm.
steering wheel. You've got your foot on the accelerator. You're so excited. You're just
Yes.
blasting off, having a great success. And then all of
Mhm.
a sudden, something happens with a customer. So you have to take your foot off the accelerator and deal with what's going on in the day, or an employee, or you get a call from an accountant, something from last month or the month before. You have to, all of a
Right.
sudden, your foot's not on the accelerator so much.
Yeah.
You're kind of dealing with today's stuff and yesterday's stuff. Well, you're
Mhm.
your greatest advocate for driving your business forward. And so you need to have people on your team that can help deal with those daily issues or the things from
Mhm.
the past, to take care of them. So you can still focus on putting your foot to the metal, getting that accelerator up and continue driving the business forward, because you're the greatest salesman for your own company, because it was you're the passion. You got you're the entrepreneurial. Let somebody else deal with the headache, the day to day, and somebody who like enjoys the management side of it.
And in that, of course, we know, I mean, the passion that we have for our business. You just also mentioned having a team or having people on the team that support you. So collaboration, which is a little bit of a sidetrack, I suppose, but how important is the collaboration? The team is crucial, and making sure that everybody is on the same mission, on the same vision page. But in that, how important is collaboration at the same time? Because you collaborated, obviously, with Michelle, and before that with many others on the amazing work that you've been doing.
Well, collaboration is key. Power of association. I credit all of my success to that. The personal success equation, which I shared in our book, 3 Feet from Gold, which was the first book that I did with the Napoleon Hill Foundation, talks about, you start with your passion and your talent, and that's all about you. And most people stop there. They try to do it all on their own. But true success comes from when you have to take your passion and your talent and you go times association. Who's on your team? Who are you surrounding yourself? Are you surrounding yourself with people who are challenging you and motivating you to keep pushing forward? And then times A for action. A lot of times we know what we're supposed to do. We just don't do it, right? Passion, talent, power of association, taking action. And then the last element is plus F for faith. Faith in what you are doing. Faith that is needed and necessary, and faith that it will succeed. And so power of collaboration, Natalie, when I start working with someone as a mentoring client, it's usually the power of association that they need work on and their faith. And they go hand in hand. When you surround yourself with the right people, they keep you going. You may have a bad day, but they're going to keep you up. And they're going to help you have that self-confidence. You need to build that self-confidence that what you're doing helps other people. And don't think of it as, people say, I don't like to sell. I go, well, flip it and say, but I do like to serve.
Yes.
And if you have something that can make your customers' lives better, shame for you for not serving them to make sure they have the opportunity to to receive it. And so it's all, again, it comes back to, like you said, mindset. But when you have the right associations and the right faith in yourself, you can blast through any limitation, but you have to be in the driver's seat. And it's so important. Even back when I started the Talking Children's Book Company, before kids ever had electronics.
Right. Good times.
Our success was because we aligned with Disney, Warner Brothers, Sesame Street, Marvel Comics, because parents didn't know who we were, but they knew them and they trusted those brands. So again, that power of association, that collaboration allowed us to explode that company very quickly in a positive way.
Right. Right. And it's so true. When I first started, I didn't want to be on social media. I was like, nah, that's not my kind of game world. And then another mentor of mine mentioned, you know what? If you don't put yourself out there, who are you serving? And maybe there's somebody in Japan who needs you. How will they find you? Which is exactly what you're referring to. It's not selling, it's how do you serve and who do you serve? Who needs you and how will they find you? I want to ask a different kind of question. It's related, but I know that usually there are people in our audience who are those startups, entrepreneurs, trying to figure out, how to pay the next bill. You have a long history also of education and financial literacy. You were, I believe, under George Bush. You were on the President's Council. You have your own company that helps with financial literacy, the 360. Your first books were also about, pay your family first. So, talk to us about the importance about financial literacy and in connection to those entrepreneurs who are worried about, if I don't sell, how can I hire somebody? If I don't sell, how can I survive?
Well, and that's chasing the money, not the cause and not your mission. So always focus on your mission. If you
Mhm.
focus on serving other people and doing your mission, the money will come. But people who focus on the money typically find that it's the wrong energy. But when
Yes.
you think about mindset, Natalie, and the reason we need financial literacy is we don't teach our children about money in school. And so
Mhm.
as children, we grow up hearing these negative comments when we're little, say like money doesn't grow on trees, pinch your pennies, save
Right.
for a rainy day, or my favorite, we can't afford it. And you hear that,
Right.
you just want to go into a
Yes.
corner and turn off the lights, right? It makes you sad. And so
Mhm.
I tell people so much is our choice of words. So instead of saying we can't afford it, stop and retrain your brain and say, how can I afford it? Do you feel the
Mhm.
difference? When you say, how
Yes.
can I afford it? It opens
Right.
your mind to the possibilities. It triggers your entrepreneurial spirit. You want to figure out a way. And it's so
Right.
important for us to allow ourselves to release that fear because of that, people are afraid they're never going to have enough money. And then when they start having some success, they're afraid they're going to lose it. But
Yeah.
once you acknowledge it and realize that maybe that happened to you, you can
Mhm.
release it and stop living in a world of scarcity and realize we do live in a
Yes.
world of abundance. You just need
Mhm.
to understand how to build the better business.
Right. Yes. Oh, Mo, were you saying something, Mo? We
Oh,
can't
I'm
hear you.
sorry. I'm sure some people were happy they couldn't hear me when I started talking, but it's okay. I'm sorry. Just turn the microphone back on. And for those, just quick housekeeping note. First of all, thank you so much, Sharon, for doing this. And Facebook is having some difficulty, so we will be playing this in full after the fact. For those few that are able to watch it live, we appreciate you. But I have no idea why Facebook is choosing not to let people stream right now on many of their platforms. But I digress from that point. This will be uploaded in full within the hour for those that are sending in messages. We appreciate you with us now. And, Sharon, you brought up something very fascinating that I do want us to delve into a little bit, because I know a lot of people get to this point, and that's that they've reached a certain level of success. They're still at that beginning part of their career where things are finally starting to fall into place. They've paid their dues for a few years, but they're still relatively young in whatever field that they're in. But it's working out, right? But the fear of, okay, well, things are working out. What if I mess up? That self-sabotage, those self-sabotaging thoughts start, creeping up. And what advice do you have for someone that's there, where they have reached a certain level of success, but they're kind of still working to get to that next pillar, and they're operating from a little fear? It's like, okay, I accomplished this. I don't want to mess it up now. What can you say to help someone in that position?
Well, let me talk about two variations of that formula. All right. There's something called Henry's, high earners not rich yet, are people who are high income and they're spending as fast as they get it. And so they don't know how to reinvest it for themselves and to build those assets. So they're constantly chasing the money.
Mhm.
Right. And that they just need, again, it's all about mindset. And then there are those people who have started working really hard and they have this element of success and they're so excited. But then this little doubt creeps in and it's called imposter syndrome. It's like guilt by success, right? That
Mhm.
they're successful and they start feeling guilty that they're successful and their friends and family aren't. And that, again, is mindset. It's understanding that when you add value, it's okay to do well when you do good. And that's a huge issue for a lot of people. And that
Mhm.
they have to get past it and realize the more people you serve, the greater benefit for them. You're creating your legacy every day with every heart you touch. And it's okay to do well financially when you're making a big positive impact in the world. And that's a huge issue for a lot of business owners. For instance, only 4.2% of women owned businesses make over $1 million a year. And
Mhm.
I think a lot of that is because of that lack of self-confidence.
Mhm.
Do you find that there's a significant level of effort that is utilized by those that, let's say, make well into 7 or 8 figures versus those that are in mid six figures? Is it about effort? Is it about time? Is it about working hard, or is it about something else?
Well, it's all of those, but it's also about working smart. Again, people that start from nothing and end up millions and billions of dollars, they recognize they didn't do it alone. And it's all about what we talk about in Exit Rich, building the business, the model that's going to generate the revenue. So don't concentrate on the sales, concentrate on building the business and the model where, the concept of build it and they will come. No, they're not going to come if they don't know how to find you. So you have to build the engine, the economic engine of that business, and then build the platforms that will allow your raving fans to share it so that they're working for you. But yes, when you're first starting off in a business, it's not you have to put the time and energy in. But when you do it right, you follow what we talk about in Exit Rich, the foundation, the systems, the right team, the right people around you, all of a sudden you're going to be able to step back a little bit and say, wow, this is an economic engine. And I have more time, whether you play golf or tennis or want to work in a nonprofit, or you have created an economic engine that other people drive. The easiest example is McDonald's franchise owners. They're not on property, right? Because they own a system that other people run, and it's a cash machine. But they don't focus on selling a burger.
Yeah.
They focus on building the system that burgers get thrown out the door for.
Right.
Yeah.
And so focusing on creating a system where other people have an opportunity to generate revenue is really the key from what I'm hearing. And it reminds me of Jeff Bezos. I think I remember somebody asked him a question along the lines of, do you feel guilty for having trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars? And I liked his answer as well. I've made a lot of millionaires in my life, right? And so building that system for other people to benefit is my takeaway from that. And Natalie, what's your takeaway from that? And do you have a question for Sharon?
Well, I want to go back to something because I know that we're having some technical issues, but there are a lot of people actually watching, and there were two questions or two comments. One was from one of our, I don't know, best or every night visitors, Pankaj. He was asking, he would like to hear more about financial literacy per se, how important that is. And then there were some other comments about how enlightening it is that you connect the mindset with success and mission versus money. So they were wondering if you can elaborate a little bit more on those two items.
Well, certainly. Thank you very much. And I appreciate the questions. And it really is, mission versus money. The people say money is evil. It's not money is evil. It's the love of money that's evil. Chasing the almighty dollar. But if you chase the mission and helping other people, when I was a little girl, my dad would ask me each night, Sharon, have you added value to someone's life today? All right. He's been gone for like 16 years, but I still ask myself that every single night. Have I added value to someone's life today? And wouldn't the world be a lot better place if we all focused life that way, particularly in the times we're in right now? But to your question about financial literacy, we are taught in school to get a job and to work hard. And if we don't have enough money, we go out and look for a second job. Well, 2020 is kind of proven this model and the fact that when you are an employee, you are dependent on your paycheck. You are dependent on your boss, and you're being paid to make them wealthy.
Right.
Right. And so it's not what you do for your paycheck that determines your future. It's what you do with your paycheck that determines your financial status. So every dollar you get, you have a choice. Are you going to spend it and say goodbye? Are you going to take that and invest it in yourself and your family? Pay your family first. Buy, build, or create assets. Instead of getting the bigger house when you get that raise or a bonus, invest it in an asset, which is a business. It can be rental real estate. It can be bonds, stocks, paper assets, intellectual property. What turn it into an asset that people can buy. It's so important for you to be in control of your own financial life. Now, my second book with Rich Dad, and I'm going to show you a picture. I had another interview, is the Cash Flow Quadrant with Rich Dad. And it talks about the 4 ways we make money. On the left side, it talks about employee self-employed. That's the rat race. That's where you are exchanging time for money, right? The harder you work, but there's only so many hours in the day and only so many days in the week. So I teach people how to move to the right side, which is becoming a business owner and an investor. This is where you are buying, building, creating assets that work for you. Now, on the left side, your income potential is finite because there's only so many hours and there's only one of you. But on the right side is infinite. Now, I make money out of all four quadrants. I'm an employee of my own companies. I get paid as a mentor, as a speaker, as an S, and I choose to do that. But my husband and I make far more money as an investor and a business owner, and that's what gives you generational wealth, because it means you've invested the time and energy, not spent your time. So understand the choice of words. You've invested your time in buying, building, creating an asset that will live on beyond you, continuing to generate income.
If you're just tuning in, we're at about the midway mark of our exclusive Monday Night Live with our living legend, Sharon Lechter, who is graciously sharing time, sharing her wisdom, and really living her purpose, practicing what she preaches, practicing what she's written about for many years in her books about providing value. And I know that's become a buzzword. You know, everywhere I go, Sharon, everyone's like, oh, I'm going to provide value today. I'm going to provide value today. I'm like, once upon a time, I understood what that meant, but it's kind of turned into this buzzword. I'm like, man, everyone is providing value. But I want to hear, what does that mean to you? Because, you know, you've been talking about value for a long time before, you know, it became this marketing buzzword. And I'd love to hear kind of a distinction between what that means for somebody that has impacted so many millions and millions and millions of lives versus, you know, what we hear on Instagram where everyone's providing value.
Well, Mo, I really want to highlight what you just said because it's so true. There's a lot of noise online, a lot of people out there claiming to be experts, and you know, as an individual, as someone seeking education, it's so important to do your own due diligence. You know, there's a lot of people that can talk a good game, but they have, you know, all hat, no cattle, we call it in the ranching world. They can sell it to you, but they can't deliver. And when you talk about adding value, it's so important that you look for someone who has been where you want to go, someone who has demonstrated success, because it's easy to spend a lot of money. That doesn't mean you're going to get a lot of value. And it's so important. So I know you asked me the question, but I wanted to go back to your initial comment because there is so much noise out there. Authenticity and walking the talk. Thank you for you. I think, Natalie, you referred that. One of you said that about me. One of the greatest compliments I can get. I appreciate that. It's so important that we are careful and we are cautious about who we are investing in. You know, we can make money and lose it and make it back. But we don't ever get our time back. And so choose wisely where you're going to spend your time and who you're investing your time with to learn to play a bigger game. You know, I have the Play Big movement, and I formed it so people would be number one in their field, live their legacy, because legacy is created with every heart you touch every single day, and creating maximum impact, because you can focus on that single sale. But I would rather take that time and invest in the system where you have a lot of people being able to buy at the same time, and you don't have to be there. Now, in my world, at this time in my life, in the last 6 or 7 years, I've chosen to go back to the left side and do one-on-one mentoring because I love it. And I love to see other people get their business from here to here. And so it's a dedication that something that I chose because it brings warmth to me to be able to see that I can help step into someone else's business and help them see things that are right there for them, but they can't see them yet. So.
Absolutely. And you know, it's interesting because in some respects, the climate that we're in is remarkable because a lot of people have a voice, and in some respects, it's kind of turned into the wild, wild west. So for those that are looking for guidance remember those that have been doing this for more than 1 or 2 years and really have paid their dues and have lasted a long time, because kind of nature has a way of running its course for those that, are all hat, no, what was it? You
I love that. Wild, wild west, all hat, no cattle.
all hat, no cattle.
Now we need to have you guys come do your show from our ranch, and then
I
we'll
would love
use
to.
that.
Do that. Absolutely.
We'll use that as the theme.
We definitely will. Focus on the hats, or no, focus on the cattle. Focus on the cattle. Amazing. And so if you're just tuning in from down south, we'd like to welcome you to the LA Tribune special edition with our living legend guest, Sharon Lechter. And, as we go into the final 20, 25 minutes or so of this, I really want us to get into the nitty gritty. And I know we've kind of up until this point talked a lot about the beginning stages for people, or kind of really people that are kind of at that threshold that are finally taking that leap into entrepreneurship. And I know there's a lot of people that watch this show that are leaders, that have businesses, that have kind of, taken that risk, proven whatever it was that they sought to prove in the marketplace. Maybe they made a couple $1 million, maybe whatever the case may be, but they're kind of past that point of being in survival mode. Mm-hmm. And now they're at that point where they really want to establish something globally, like what you have. What can you, go back to that moment, kind of right before your explosion, right before you really blew up with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the months prior to it, or the couple years prior to it, kind of where you were there. And what was your mindset like at that point in time?
Well, Mo, thanks for that question. I think it's throughout my career, I've always focused on finding the right next partner, the right next largest partner, and always playing big. As I said, with the talking books, it was Disney, Warner Brothers. So immediately we're global because they're already global, right? So when we built the Rich Dad company, I said, okay, this time, instead of writing big royalty checks to Disney and Warner Brothers, I want to build the brand that we get royalty checks. Because I told you my favorite word is assets. My second one is royalties, getting them to pay us. And so at the height of our success at Rich Dad, I brought in Warner Books to help us expand the ability to manufacture and get the books out into the world. And when we needed to do infomercials, I brought in Time Life, and they used their money, their resources, their people, but it was all our brand. So I was able to control everything. And so by doing that, we were able to, at one highest time of our success, probably 5,000 people working for me around the world, but only 17 on my payroll, because they were all working at Time Life or Warner Books or our coaching company, where I was doing joint ventures and strategic alliances with other companies where they were paying us to align with us to help spread our message around the world. And as much as I've done that my whole career, it's never been more exciting to do that than it is today, or easier. I mean, on a small scale, people's affiliate programs. A lot of people say, I don't know how to make any money. I said, well, do you have products you believe in? Become an affiliate, start marketing online. It's not a business, but it's a way for you to generate cash flow while you determine what business you want to start. And taking action. So many people are paralyzed. We talk about fear. Fear motivates you or paralyzes you. And there's been a lot of fear this year. And people have kind of hidden away. They've changed from night pajamas to day pajamas, and sat and watched TV for 12 hours at a time. Put on the COVID 15 pounds. I keep hearing that.
Right.
And again, that comes back to, are you spending time or are you investing time?
Right.
And so instead of being that fear paralyzing you, turn that fear into motivation, into energy, to do something different, to take the path less traveled. My mantra when I first decided to leave public accounting at the age of 25 was, why not? Why not do something different? Why not solve a problem or serve a need? Because every successful business solves a problem or serves a need.
Amazing. Yeah. And, it's interesting because I have the saying that great minds think alike. And I kind of have a short list of people that I look up to. You're on that list. Another one is Jay Abraham. And Jay Abraham also talks about strategic partnerships, leveraging relationships. And, there's a lot of people that might be hearing that, Sharon, and they're like, well, if I reach out to so-and-so person, or if I reach out to Disney or some big company, what are the odds that they will want to work with little old me? So what can you say to help someone have that breakthrough?
Well, earn the right. Have something that will benefit them as well as you. So you need to structure it. And for instance, Disney didn't have talking books. So we added value to them, but we had to jump through a lot of hoops to prove that we were financially viable, that we could handle the scale, that we could make sure the quality control was to their standards. And so that you just establish you earn the right, and you show how you add value to them and to their customers, as well as them adding value to you. And that's such an important issue. And I'm glad you asked that question, Mo, because there are a lot of young business owners just have, stars in their eye. They want. Well, let's give.
Yes.
Give. I say, even in social media, I go, give, ask. Give, ask.
Right.
And so that happens a lot of times. But when you're the little guy, it's not a dead end. You have the opportunity to work with large companies if you find the right path. You understand how you're adding value to them, you earn the right, and you understand how to negotiate with a bigger player.
I hope the people watching this are taking notes, because this is literally life-changing stuff. And, kind of like provide value, life-changing is also floating around quite a bit. But this is the real deal. This is like the definition of providing value and life-changing for those that are open to receive it. And, speaking of being open to receive it, as we slowly wrap this up, because, you talk so much, Sharon, about specifics and kind of common sense financial stuff. And, in some parts of the world, it's very common sense, right? Many cultures in the East, they teach their kids, go buy a business or go buy real estate. And we don't really have that program for us that grew up or born and raised here in the West. But, some people look at it like it's common sense. Sadly, here in the West, we don't have that instilled in the culture here. So I'm glad you're one of the pioneers that have helped lead a generation of people to start doing that here. But let's wrap it up with a little bit of the last thing that you talked about, which was faith. And I know a lot of the people that watch this are not just practical people that focus on their P&L sheets and focus on the dollars and focus on making sure, that they're paying their taxes the right way. But a lot of people are people of faith as well. We kind of have combined those two worlds together. And what does that mean to you? And what kind of benefits have you had in your life with your faith, that F? And how that translates to someone that's in the field of business?
Well, isn't that an important question? You asked about 5 questions in one. My faith is my guide, my belief in God. Before I do anything, I recite the prayer of Jabez, which basically says to God, to bless me indeed, right? Enlarge my territory, allow me to reach more people than I could even dream of. Let your message be delivered to me, all right, so that I'm a vessel and that I may not cause harm or be harmed. And it's a little tiny prayer in the middle of the Bible. And it's made a huge difference to me because, again, everyone that's watching or listening, you've had stuff happen to you. For me, 8 years ago, I lost my youngest son. I would not wish that on anyone. And it would put me into a world of numb for several years. But every one of you has had something happen to you, whether it be a death, a divorce, an illness, a financial setback. But you're still here. And you're still here for a reason. And you survived. And so whatever you went through, there are other people going through that right now that could benefit from you and could benefit from what you learned and benefit from you sharing how you survived. And that's the true spirit of collaboration and exercising and demonstrating your faith in yourself, in your God, and humanity. Because faith is all we have, right? Now, you may have a faith that's different than mine. but the faith in a higher power. And believe me, when you lose a child, it's easy to question your faith.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, I know that there's a greater plan for me and that I'm still here. And there's a part of me, I can't just ignore what I've been through. I can't just stop doing what I do. I don't need to do it anymore financially, but I need to do it spiritually. And a lot of that has to do with my faith of service, my faith of adding value to people's lives every day. So faith is not an element, it is the element of my life.
Mhm.
And if you're just joining us, this is a very unique perspective in Sharon Lechter that many of you have may not been exposed to, because I think most people just want to talk about money, 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 money with Sharon. And we want to also take some time to talk about something important that she does highlight, which is faith. And I think that that's very powerful, and kind of a lot of people just get caught up in this desire to have a nice car, or this desire to get a nice house, that they forget some of the most important things in life, like having faith. And you know, it's interesting because it also goes back to love, your love of people, because you know, and thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that story with us here on this platform, and kind of for going there a little bit. But when you're in that place of questioning faith, which I think you know, everyone goes through at some point in their life, and that pain, that question, you ultimately found your place out of that by going back to love. And helping other people get out of their pain, which I think is a remarkable story, and very deep. And Natalie, what can you say, kind of to take it away from that point? Just to put you on the spot a little bit, because I haven't done it in
Yeah,
a while.
I don't want to take it away, but you said another fascinating thing, and I couldn't agree more on the faith and that inner drive and passion, that guidance of why we do what we do. Sometimes it seems like we're, I don't know, fighting windmills. Maybe sometimes it can be challenging. At the same time that you're saying you could stop, but it doesn't feel right to stop just yet. You know, you need to keep going. At what point do you exit rich? If you consistently feel the drive to keep going, and even going back to, you know, that individual coaching, which is so amazing. So when do you make that switch from I have to give, I want to give, that's my mission, I feel it, to okay, it's time to stop and
Well,
exit?
and to that question, Natalie, I've exited rich on at least 3 occasions. And it's adjust and adapt. Just because you exit rich doesn't mean your life is over. I have one client that sold a hearing aid company for $151 million, and he's now a partner building Cardone Ventures with Grant Cardone. And so the people who are successful in driving, that it's hard for them just to turn it off. And so
Yes.
you just adjust and adapt. You find something. My husband and I own multiple companies, and so exiting rich doesn't mean you retire. In fact, I just did a webinar a couple weeks ago. Don't retire, refire. And many of us
I
need to
love that.
we need to refire everything in our life, because
Yes.
we become complacent, or this year we've become numb. And so you have to find that, you have to reignite that passion and find it out what you want in life, and say, what was not working in my life and what do I need to change? And how can I invest my time to bring back that feeling of fulfillment? You know, the book that I did, Think and Grow Rich for Women, I said, you know, it's how do you find success and significance? And
Yes.
because that success is in your wallet, right? And how you feel about yourself, but significance is in your heart. And so that's, if I could give anybody a gift, is for them to find their purpose and really be focused on helping others find their purpose.
Right.
And it's something that, and we talk about fear, Mo asked about that. You know, I'm certainly not trying to make this a total promotional hour, but Outwitting the Devil is an incredible book for people that are trying to break through their shackles of fear. And I was so honored when the Napoleon Hill Foundation asked me to bring that out. It was hidden away for 73 years. And it was so pertinent for 2020 because
Mm-hmm.
on page 61 about winning the devil, Napoleon Hill says that the devil's voice, right, says, at some point I'm going to bring man to his knees from the fear of poverty and the fear of death. What happened in 2020? Financial collapse and pandemic. And let's add fear of isolation to that. And so the book helps people understand how to find that definiteness of purpose, how to find the control of your environment, the control of how you spend your time, learning from adversity, self-discipline, self-mastery. And it has helped hundreds, if not millions of people turn that fear into faith, into excitement and energy to move forward.
And
Outwitting
I
the
think
devil.
that goes back to the faith part, right? That even if you feel like you're done with one task or one assignment, that you will be guided to refire, as you put it, don't retire, refire, to refire and connect in that purpose just on another task. You're a walking example of that, from financial literacy to the coaching to the books and all of that. So it goes back to faith and love of self and trust. Absolutely. Yes.
And it really was, I was kind of at that point again when I got the phone call from a mutual friend of Michelle's and mine, David Corbin, and he told me that she was writing this book, but she needed some help and needed some lift from a brand association perspective. And so I sat back and I go, exit, okay. We actually worked on the title together, but I saw what she had put together and realized that it was a good addition to my library of work. I've written 25 books, but it also needed that strategy and mentorship and investor look to it. And I realized combining the two would make it such a much stronger it's like a resource book. It really has so much depth of information on how to build value in your company. It's not an entertainment book. It's a book of truly what to do to add value, to create your value, to prepare yourself for sale, to sail through due diligence, and identifying your intellectual property, increasing the valuation, and making a lot more money. So if you're interested in not leaving money on the table, or if you're interested in creating value in your business, if you're interested in creating a business that you can leave to your children and it's still there when you're not.
And if you're not interested in any of those things, why are you watching this right now? I'm just genuinely curious. No, but it's interesting you bring up outwitting the devil. And, I'm a sucker for literature that is profound and deep and really kind of at the next level. And, outside of your work, your body of work, and outside of kind of the books that everyone has kind of heard about, the Think and Grow Riches of the World, etc. What is a book or two that's kind of a rare gem that maybe people haven't heard of before that you can share?
Well, there are several. The Prayer of Jabez, of course, is one that I would say is a great book. But the other one is The Ultimate Gift by Jim Stovall. He's an incredible man. It was made into a movie. It's a parable. It's a story about teaching children to really understand the value of life and respecting money. A young man who's a highly entitled rich kid whose uncle dies, and he leaves this videotape series of stuff for all his relatives. And it is such an impactful book and movie, The Ultimate Gift. And then from a business perspective, I like Jim Collins' Good to Great. It's been out a long time, but I think I would put Exit Rich and Good to Great right on the same level as far as the value that they have for business owners, creating something that's scalable and saleable.
Speaking of Exit Rich, as we wrap this amazing program up, the quick reminder that Sharon has graciously provided those of you that are interested in this phenomenally exciting book. Go to exitrichbook.com/buy. You have a lot of bonuses because you happen to be watching this right here on the LA Tribune Television Network. So go and, do yourself a favor, but don't buy it if you don't want any of the things that Sharon talked about, please. It's not the book for you. Only if you want to be successful, only if you want to have money, only if you want to have a successful and vibrant business. So, if that's you, go get it. If not, God bless you and good luck. So check out Exit Rich. I'm super excited. Sharon, I'm excited to read it. It's definitely going to be something I'm looking forward to. And, we don't want to take too much time right now because we know that next month, Sharon, you are going to be part of our Quantum Leap Forum with Kevin Harrington, who also wrote the forum. Your friend Kevin Harrington and David Meltzer and Joe Vitale, and we have a lot of speakers that we haven't made public yet, but we're going to be announcing some pretty big names that provide value. And so we're going to be doing that very soon. But Sharon, what can people expect for the event next month? Because we're talking about taking a quantum leap. And the last event that you were a part of was about leadership. And when someone, hears quantum leap, it means 100 things to 100 people. But in our context, it's having a breakthrough of fear. That's what we really want to focus this event on. And we touched up a little bit on that because a lot of people are in that vibration. A lot of people are still in fear. I mean, here we are. It's, what are we, a week or two in 2021? And a lot of people are like, Mo, I miss 2020. With all the craziness, they want to go back to 2020. And so what can people expect from the event that you and Kevin Harrington and the Los Angeles Tribune team is going to be a part of February 20th and 21st? Just a quick little sample for them on what they can expect at this event.
Well, everything you need to know to be hugely wealthy, you already have. The issue is, have you taken the right steps to turn it into reality? And we're going to be talking about things that you can do, and to use Grant Cardone's term, to 10x your wealth. How about just to get it 5x? Would that work for you? How we can take what you already know. You are already an expert. Nobody's had your wins. Nobody's had your learning opportunities. But I want you to become the authority, not the expert. Become the authority. That means when your phone starts calling, they call you. You're the authority. And then turn that expertise and that authority into income producing assets. You are financially free when the income from your assets exceeds your monthly expenses. It does not have to be millions of dollars. So how about a quantum leap to financial freedom?
Amazing. That's awesome. And thank you again, Sharon. And before we let you go, we have a few fun questions that I don't know if you've ever had to answer before, but top 3 TV shows, top 3 movies, and top 3 albums. Sharon Lechter, floor is yours.
Oh my goodness. TV shows, probably NCIS. Let's see. I watch it with my husband. FBI. And let's see, what's the other one? What would it be? Both. Those are probably my top TV shows. My top 3 movies: Dancing with Wolves.
Oh, yes.
Kevin Costner.
Yes.
And where is Kevin Costner, by the way? I'm worried about him. Guys, find Kevin Costner. Where is he?
He's doing a TV show.
Dances with Wolves, number 1.
Yep. Let's see. Beaches. And probably, oh my goodness. Let's see. Top 3 movies. Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible, classic. And final question for Sharon Lechter: top 3 music albums. Floor is yours.
Oh,
anything
man.
Motown.
Anything Motown.
Yes. Supremes. Awesome. Yes. Pointer Sisters. Yep.
There we go.
And Frank Sinatra. So
Frank Sinatra. Awesome.
My husband sings just like Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley. So we
wow.
And I am definitely, they were actually before my time. So, but I do like the music.
Right. Absolutely. And so with that being said, guys, check out Sharon's new book, exitrichbook.com/buy. Those of you watching this on the LA Tribune Television Network are receiving this, getting an exciting gift from Sharon Lechter for taking care of it and getting it right now. And Natalie, closing thoughts on this episode, and the floor is yours.
how can the floor be mine after Sharon Lechter? I think
And real quick, I just want to mention, because I know a couple of people are curious, I'm not moderating a debate between Natalie and Sharon. I know some of you are looking at the attire, and they think I'm a debate moderator. Guys, this is a non-political show. These two are not candidates. In case you haven't heard, the elections are over. Okay, I just want to throw that out there. Natalie, close it out.
Well, I think the most important things is that you can have your dreams, and that it is your fear and your mindset and your faith that determine how you live and where you go next. That is sort of like the nutshell version that I'm trying to right now put Sharon Lechter into. However, I think that's what we see in everyday life. If you believe in abundance, it's amazing. If you believe in collaboration, if you love yourself and others enough to just extend your hand, to just go out there and make an offer, versus if you're always worried that somebody's going to take something from you. The key aspect, I think, is always faith. Sharon said it beautifully. So whatever religion, faith, whatever that is, but that inner guidance, as I like to call it, that trust that there's something bigger guiding you. And sometimes we might get challenged on that road. However, if we surround ourselves with the right people, it'll still all come back to us serving instead of selling.
Awesome. Awesome. And the only thing I have to say is just remember to provide value. That's it.
Yes.
Okay, guys, this has been Monday Night Live right here. And we appreciate everyone tuning in. We, of course, want to thank Sharon Lechter. If you liked anything about what this conversation entailed, be sure to visit exitrich.com/buy. The book is Exit Rich. The author is Sharon Lechter. And of course, mark your calendars for February 20th and 21st. We've got Kevin Harrington, Sharon Lechter, Joe Vitale, David Meltzer, and many, many other people that we have not publicly announced yet that will be participating. So with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. Until next week, keep the faith.
Thank you so much.
Hi, thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.